Yeah, we are.
So, this is our first Twitch stream.
Yay, Twitch.
And I'm getting a delay because I've got that window open.
Oh, okay. I just got the notification that we have a show.
So, we have a show. All right. I'm going to close out the Twitch window and just ride with this one for now.
All right.
I'm going to put some music on. I think the adventure music for now.
All right.
Something low and in the background. I'm going to be drawing King Cryptid. That's Pete Samedi's comic. Alternate Comics.
Yeah, I am unfamiliar with this one.
EVs. I'm still. It's got a deal where it's 5 comics.
Okay.
And right now, like, if you go and back his King Cryptid campaign, it's 9 comics for your backing. And they're the old-fashioned comics, so it's like the old-fashioned printing, not like the more modern, slippery computer colors and stuff like that. It's much more like the old comic print, and it's kind of got a familiar feel. But the characters are really interesting characters, so that's what I'm going to draw.
Cool.
And so I hear you're got congratulations in order.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as it goes through, we're all good. Got the acceptance 2 days ago? Sounds about right. Maybe yesterday? I don't know. I guess it was yesterday.
Okay.
But, yeah, the anthology's called Divergent Realms, and it's going to be my highest paying sale, I think.
Well, that's good.
I wasn't even sure I was going to submit to it, which is kind of funny. So, like, I really wasn't exactly sure that's what I wanted, because you know how you get, like, the submission calls that are for, like, women or, you know, minorities or whatever, like they're exclusive.
Right.
Well, this one was exclusive, but it was for neurodivergent people. And on the one hand, you know, like, cool, whatever. I have no problem with that. Like, I have no. It's not that I'm necessarily. Well, how do I put this? There's nothing wrong with being neurodivergent. Like, there's not. And there's stigma attached to a lot of it, and there shouldn't be. But at the same time, I didn't want my story sold because I fit a category. Like, I want my story to sell because the story's good.
Right.
So that's the thing I've always kind of had against some of the more exclusive calls, because I'm like, are you worried about the story, or are you worried about the author? And I want the people to be worried about the story, not me. But it's also a nice payday. So.
Right.
Can't pass that up. And really, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I figured, why not?
No, why be ashamed if you're publishing a story?
Yeah.
We work hard to get those stories publishable.
I mean, part of that story, because, you know, I have a son who's he's got Tourette's. And so a character I wrote into that story, it doesn't say Tourette's because that's too modern of a term, but he has Tourette's. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to make this character like a grown-up version of my son. And so I'm thrilled that this is getting published, I guess. Whenever there's like that connection with like a direct connection to family, I really like seeing those things in print. Even if people would never know, you know, it's kind of a shout out to my kids.
Right.
But ultimately, that story is about family and the fact that, you know, when you have a kid who some people might see as defective, it doesn't matter as the parent. Like that's your kid. And
yeah, and they're not defective. It's just a whole different approach.
Yeah. So ultimately, like I said, I like the story. I think it's a good story. I'm proud of it. I think it's going to come out next year. It's the first time the guy's ever done an anthology, so I'm kind of holding my breath a little bit on that. But he was like, "Yeah, I'll get suggested edits out to you in 2 weeks, and after that, it'll be contracts." And you know, so I got the acceptance letter, waiting for him to do whatever suggested edits he wants. Which, unless he does something really strange, I can't say that I would decline any. I don't, you know, it's like, all right. Like I could be, if they're paying me as much as they're going, you know, as the rate was supposed to be, it'd have to drastically change my story. But that's like one of those planetary anthologies. The first one I was in, and I want you to cut off the first 4 pages. All right. I think it was Jupiter was the anthology, and it's the story that had the woman that rode the giant jerboa.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, they wanted like the first 4 pages. They're like, just cut the first 4 pages off. All right. You know, it doesn't hurt my feelings. So if that's what an editor sees and that's what they want, cool. Later on, if I get rich and famous and I want to republish it, I can republish it with the first 4 pages attached. And people are like, oh, 4 new pages, you know? So why not?
And also considering the fact that you're getting published, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
if they're not publishing it, but they're telling you what they want, then that's one thing. But if they're going to publish it,
right. So, aside from his physical features, what does King Cryptid do?
He's got some powers. Like I said, I'm still waiting on my copies, but I'm not really sure when they're coming. But if you go to the Alterna website, he's got a sample.
Yeah. Where
it's like 5 or 6 comic books, but there's only a couple pages in each.
Okay.
And like one of them on the splash page, he's healing a deer.
Yep.
But like Mothman makes an appearance in one, and
so okay, so if
he's we know, like I know from reading that his powers come from the moon, and he's an alien being that took over a beast, and the human part is the distortion.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't know a whole lot. I just know he's a really interesting looking character. and it made me want to join.
Cool.
And I know it almost seems like he's a protector of cryptid, you know? Like,
Well, that's what I was wondering. You said Mothman appears, so then I'm like, all right, so
that's like the
I'm sensing a
first
theme.
feature in the first couple of pages, but just when you get to know what's going on with Mothman, that's when it stops.
Huh.
So it's enough of a sample to make you want to see what's going on, but
So the boys had a quiz bowl meet tonight, and they had a question on there, and I was kind of mad because my boys did not get it correct, and I have
you're mad that they didn't get it correct?
yeah, because I've talked to them about this because you know, I was going through and well, like the story that has the Moravians in it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I mean, I talked to them about that story. I told them what it's based on. I talked to them, you know, all that stuff, and so they wanted, you know, what's the name of the author that you know wrote? Yeah, I mean, it's just the Island of Dr. Moreau. He also wrote The Time Machine, and I'm like, you should know this, but they didn't. Although my older boy knew he should know it, and he's like, "Oh God, Dad's gonna be mad," which I wasn't mad because they get stuff that I have no idea how they know. Like, yeah, they should have known this, but whatever. They get all kinds of stuff right that I'm like, where in the world are you picking this up? But whatever. There was a kid on the opposing team. Oh my gosh, that guy was a machine. It was kind of funny because it was like in Quiz Bowl, every point was actually 10 points. I don't know why they do it that way, but whatever. So we got our butts handed to us, but it was mostly one kid, and the guy was just crazy smart. So, I mean, hats off to that kid. But the stuff he knew, I was just like, what is... But then, so here's this kid that seems to know everything. And then they ask him a sports question, and his whole team was like, and it was so stereotypical of that type of student,
Right.
you know?
Them, right?
So it was kind of funny. Like, I got a good chuckle out of it.
Them thing, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of one of those things where it's like, because I'm not a big sports guy. Like, I'm just not. Like, I just don't care. I mean, really, I just like, oh, look, you can put a ball in a hoop. Great. Good for you. You know, whatever. But not that I have anything against people who enjoy it or do it. I don't care. Oh, hey, look, there's my cat. So anyway, wow, this is new. She's never come up here before. Oh, anyway. So, but normally they've had stuff like who won, I forget, like the Sweet 16, and somebody put like the Colts, you know, and they're just like, that's the wrong sport, man. Like, but whatever, you know, the stuff that these kids happen to know, and it's just like, I mean, especially when they get to math. When they get to math, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Just let me know who gets the point, because I don't know. I haven't done that math in decades. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I recognize that. I did that like, you know, 25 years ago, but haven't done it since. Don't really remember how. But
We'll want to remember how, right?
yeah. My only problem is when I have either a former student or a current student, and they ask a literature question that we've covered in class, and the kid doesn't know it. That just bothers me. Not this time, but the time before.
For those that don't realize, What's a teacher of literature?
Yeah. They got a question about Hemingway, and I had just taught a lesson about that day. And there was a kid that was in that class, and he did not get that question. And now, to be fair, he was like, I thought somebody else would get it, and I was kind of nervous about Buck because he'd never played before. And so he was just kind of worried about he thought one of his teammates would get it. I'm like, that's not how you do this. Like, if you think you know the answer, you buzz in. But whatever. I'm sure he will remember, Hemingway for the rest of his life now because of that moment. So
maybe.
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? I don't know. Ugh. I always figure my junior English teacher probably had the most impact on me. And that's what I teach now, juniors, mostly. So, I don't know. When I was in high school, the school got the PSAT results back, and my English teacher pulled me out in the hallway and started strangling me because I was about to be kicked out of his class because my grades were too low. And I had the top verbal score in the entire school. He's like, the kid who gets the top verbal score should not be getting kicked out of my class because of bad grades. Because that means it's not about skill. It's about, just being lazy. He's like, what is your problem? And I looked at him because it was kind of funny because I was bigger than he was at that point, So when I say he's strangling me, to some degree, I was letting him do that. But I just looked at him. I was like, every time that you give a reading assignment, if I go home and read it, there's no quiz. If I don't go home and read it, there's a quiz, which really screws up your grade. And he looked at me and he goes, well, the solution to that is to read every time, and I guarantee there will be quizzes. Eventually. You'll hit one of them. And golly, that method has worked out a lot better for me. Kind of weird when you just do what you're supposed to.
Go figure.
I know. Strange.
It worked?
Oddly enough, it did. I'd probably say that's the most, frustrating thing in the world is, at least for me as a teacher, it's not the behavior I get or whatever, because I normally get along with the students just fine. It's not the demands from parents or anything. It's when I teach a kid a particular technique and then he gets it, but then doesn't use it. So I wasted my time and his time, and he hasn't improved any because he hasn't, it's just like, man, because the problem with AP classes, in my experience, has been that the kids think they already know it. They simultaneously think they already know how to do it and that they can't do it. Which is the weirdest mindset I've ever seen, but I swear that's what they do. Because they will say, oh, I can't write, oh, I can't read, blah, 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 blah. But then you tell them how to do stuff better, like, I know how to do this.
Right.
I don't need to know how to pre-write. I just write. I'm like, yeah, that's why you're getting bad grades. Like, I don't, but whatever. It's one of those things you can lead the horse to water, but until they're thirsty, they ain't going to drink.
Right.
That's also kind of the difference. Like, if we go to a class on writing, like, we're there to learn how to write. We want to know How do I get published? How do I format? How do I, create more tension? All those kinds of things, right? So, we'll listen to people who write, and we will suck it up as much as we can.
Well, that's because we want to learn it, though.
I know, we're thirsty. When you're not thirsty, you just don't drink.
I got way too invested in loose pencils way too quickly.
Oh my gosh, I picked up some proofreading work, a little bit of a side hustle, try to make some cheddar. And I was proofreading this flyer for, it's basically a service to help you sell your vacation Bible school plans. Okay. And there was this one line in the text that I about peed myself laughing, because the common abbreviation for Vacation Bible School is just VBS, and you'll hear churches talk about VBS this and VBS that, and
oh no,
So there was one line in the text that said something about how we'll provide the platform to make sure that your BS reaches kids. Oh goodness. I was like, I'm kind of digging that, but I don't quite think it's right. So it's just a fun little bit of work.
Everybody wants their BS to reach the kids.
Yeah. Hey, it's Ephraim. It's just, I can't. I'm sorry, Ephraim. It's just too much for me. But he says hello.
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 King Cryptid.
Do you think King Cryptid has 3 fingers because 5 fingers are harder to draw?
I don't know. Maybe that's why he has no nose. That's why. That's why Dale Keown drew Pitt without a nose, because he didn't like drawing noses.
Nice. I mean, it seems reasonable to me. Like,
well, I think King Cryptid he's not human, so he wouldn't necessarily have 5 fingers, and I'm not sure which animal became him. That's something I've yet to read in the comic. That's why I've got the comic, so I can check it out.
Yeah.
It's interesting because Pete Samedi is the writer, so he's had different artists on the book, and you can tell there's it's very obvious which artist is which. So King Cryptid is also furry, so he's like a Yeti or something.
Cool.
I don't even know really what he is. Like, I know he's an alien. I caught that, and that he's weak if he's out till sunlight. And I've seen a couple of different representations of what I'm drawing right now. It's like he's got a cape and kind of a mantle. But the mantle, I've seen it drawn as wood. I've seen it drawn like it looks like it's armor.
maybe he's like. So you said that he's an alien that takes over an animal, kind of
Well,
more.
I'm guessing he's like a combination of an animal and an alien,
Huh. How old is he?
like a symbiote. I don't know. He's supposed to be old. That's all I know. Is, like I said, like I the sampler he gives like 2 pages of one issue, 3 pages of another issue, just enough to get you curious, you know.
Efrain, it's King Cryptid, in case that's not abundantly clear from the discussion. Yeah.
Right, it's King Cryptid. It's Pete Zemedi's King Cryptid from Alterna Comics. And it's a crowdfunded comic. So you can go over to Indiegogo and find the campaign. I think I should have probably gone and grabbed it. Let's see real quick if don't yawn.
Sorry. Oh. Yeah, they offer tutoring at my school before and after school, and they pay us to show up, but it's not mandatory for teachers. Like, you don't have to go. But I try to, especially when kids are trying to make up work, I'm like, all right, we'll just come to tutoring. We'll get it done.
I'm going to try to
Okay.
put King Cryptid in the link for King Cryptid in the chat.
But
Should be able to.
there you did it, like twice.
Yep. Well, that's because it's one of them. One of them's on.
Twitch and the other one's on YouTube.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, this kid asked me to show up this morning so he could do some work, and I was like, all right, that's cool. And I got up and got in early, and he did not. I was like, ah. Of course, I got paid, so I can't really be all that upset. I'm like, all right.
Right.
But
It's just too bad they didn't take advantage of it.
it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I don't know if this money is worth the sleep.
No, I guess that's a question only you can ever answer.
Yeah. Ugh. No, it's just. Oh, so tonight's Tuesday, right? Okay. So, yesterday, I had a parent meeting after school, had tutoring to go to after that, and then there was a swim meet, which those last forever. So I was at school a good portion of the day, like well over 12 hours. And then, I had to come home and get stuff ready for today and all that kind of stuff. Today, because I'm department chair, I have 2 prep periods. The first prep period I have is supposed to be for department chair work. So every other Tuesday we have a meeting, so I had to go to that, so I didn't get that prep period. And then my evaluation is supposed to be this week, so you have to do a pre-conference. So that was during my other prep, so I didn't get any preps. And then I had to go to that, it's an away quiz bowl meet that I had to help coach. All I really did was keep score. I mean, it was like, I don't coach, I'm the gopher,
Yeah, you're just there.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm very upfront about this. Like, all right, I guess. If I can be of service, I will. Whatever. But, so that lasted quite a while, then came home and, whoa! Yeah, I've been doing a lot of running this week, that's all. Especially compared to last week, when I had it off. So, having to get everything ready. That's the other thing. I didn't know that tonight was an away game that I needed to go to until I had just sent my lesson plans to my principal to say, hey, would you check, like this is what I'm doing, because that's what they asked for. And completely set that out. And then I was like, oh, hey, you need to be gone. And the way I had set it up, she's going to come and observe me my last hour of the day. And, there's certain things I have to get to before it's that lesson. And then I had to leave 20 minutes before the end of class so I could go to this other school to do nothing but sit around. And, it puts my lesson plans behind, and I got to figure out how to fix that. All that. Oh, it was just perfect timing. I was like, wow, it was great.
And by perfect, you mean
perfect storm. But that's all right. I mean, my principal's pretty darn cool. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of upfront with all my bosses. I'm like, look, if you don't like what I'm doing, if you tell me what you want me to fix, I'll fix it. If you don't want to tell me what to fix and you just don't like it, tell me that and I'll leave. I'll fix it that way. Like, I'm not one of those people that feels like I'm entitled to the job, I guess. Like, I get paid to do something, and if you're the one paying me, I'm going to do what, just tell me what you want and I'll do it. And if I don't want to do it, I'll stop working for you. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't feel like working for someone who doesn't want me working for them, but can't fire me. Like, I know that you always see stuff in the paper about teachers unions and they're protecting bad teachers. And that may be in New York or California, but it's not in Indiana. In Indiana, the union is kind of weak. And I mean, I don't want to upset any union people, but it is. I'm a union member, so I don't want to get anyone any kind of grief. But I'm a union member primarily because I felt like it was a good example for my department. That was it. Your friend wants to know what's your favorite comic.
Oh boy. Currently, that's a hard question to answer. I would say If you're talking about old comics, I would say it would be obviously a tie between Punisher and Moon Knight. As far as new comics, a lot of what I've seen, I think, hasn't really been all that good. Read Irene Strakowski's English, and that wasn't bad. The second Icon starts moving towards the story. This Encrypted is really interesting from what I've seen, but I really only got the hook on each one of the magazines, and then I don't have a copy of the full magazine because he gave an example. He's got a sample on his site. But so far, this actually looks like one of the more exciting. What else? Let's see. I've got some of the new ones right here. Just don't pull out this quickly. Wraith of God, that's one of the more interesting ones. I'm still waiting on a bunch of crowdfunded ones to come in. But yeah, Wraith of God's pretty interesting. It's a little bit horror and a little bit old-fashioned Ghost Rider-ish, like Ghost Rider on the horse Ghost Rider. So it's kind of interesting. Well, you got the hiccups?
A little bit.
A little bit is pretty much yes, correct?
Yeah.
I've got a couple hiccups. I don't have them all, just got a few odd ones here and there.
I always like it when my wife just looks at me and is like, do you want divorced? No, then get rid of those hiccups.
Wow.
Yeah, she gets
mean. That's what I would say. That's freaking mean.
Oh, that's like, she's one of those people that really, really can't stand the sound of someone eating.
I can't stand the sound of somebody smacking while they're eating. Like,
but yeah, I can understand that, but I'm talking like, let's say you bite into a chip and your mouth is completely closed and you're just, and you know, it's rattling around your big giant empty head.
It's framed. I gotta turn that around on you. What's your favorite comic? Now, you can go ahead, because I'll have to wait to see what he says.
Yeah. Yeah, why are you asking us? What's your favorite? Stop interrogating us.
Well, I'm curious to know what his favorite comic is. You know, it's,
market research.
Of course. And that, and everybody always asks me what mine is, and I'm really more image, not image comic, but image like this oriented person. So comic with exciting images usually is what pulls me in. Because, you know, fantasy artist at heart, fantasy writer, historical fiction writer too, man. Wow.
Yep.
That's
And
gonna
now
be
Rich
rough.
begins to understand why my wife is willing to divorce me. Oh,
Well, no, I don't understand why she wanted to divorce you, but
but it has nothing to do with hiccups.
it's. I said no. I don't understand why she wanted to divorce you, but they're really beating your ass.
Efrain said, I got many. One might be Batman Unwrapped by David Finch, but just penciling Stage or Pitt from Dale.
Oh yeah, Pitt. I don't know about just penciling Stage. Like the early Pitts, he inked too, and Dale Keown inks with Crow's and Kolinsky brushes. You know, and that's what I was saying. You're talking about like favorite comics or favorite artists. You know, like Pitt. I really love the artwork in Pitt, but the story doesn't really have a whole lot. Like it seems like he's had a couple of different starts and he hasn't really decided where he wants to go with it. Like I'm writing a script for Pitt. Hopefully Dale will check it out and like it, but it's more of a cohesive story. It's like it's not bouncing around. It's one story trying to pull all the other ones together. But visually, Pitt was awesome. Problem is Pitt is kind of like Superman. You can't destroy him. If you can nuke him and it doesn't do anything to him, it's kind of hard to care about a character that can't die, can't get hurt, can't lose, you know. Has nothing to fear, no fear. Another thing I kind of had an issue with Pitt is that he's an assassin and you never see him being an assassin. He's like an outright Conan, that's not what an assassin is. An assassin tries to get away with it in the dark, in the shadows. The strength of an assassin is to not be known.
See, that was my problem with the Hitman games.
Mangoes.
Because when I played Hitman, I think I had the second one and the third one on the Xbox. And I would go through and just try to kill everyone. And they would always be like, you know, you're supposed to only kill the target. And I'm like, nah, let's kill everyone so I know nobody saw me.
Right, well, but if you're an assassin, you don't want to be publicly fighting everything and everyone.
Oh, I know.
That kind of defeats the purpose of being an assassin, or the value of being an assassin. It's like that whole James Bond argument. Yeah. If everyone knows who you are, you're not a very good spy.
Yeah.
An assassin, same thing. Like if everybody knows who you're an assassin, you're not a very good assassin. Time to start putting some better pencils in. And switch up the comments. I was really considering just jumping to inks with this. I think that's why I was so hesitant.
Ugh.
You eat too fast, or
I'm not eating anything.
I said, did you eat too fast?
Literally, I haven't eaten anything for quite some time. It has nothing to do with food. I have no idea what the problem is. There you go. Now it's over.
You sure?
We'll see. I yawned, I burped. What else could be there?
Ooh, well.
This is high class
You could be
entertainment.
my
Man.
age, you don't ask those questions because the universe answers you. What else could there be? Oh no.
That's a little scary.
Right?
Oh,
See, I wouldn't get mad at you. I just kind of pity you. Like, wow.
no, she gets grumpy. She
I-
gets grumpy.
I pretty much hate them myself, so.
So do I, but
Right, that's what I was saying. Like, I'd pity you.
see, normally I can keep them relatively silent, but every once in a while, just when I think they're done, just when I think I'm over it, that's when one escapes, and I have no idea. Ugh.
That's kind of what I was thinking when you were like, I'm done. I'm like, you're done, huh? Yeah, tangent wanting to happen, gotta stop it.
What'd you say?
I said I see a tangent starting to happen, I gotta stop it.
During my pre-conference today, I was talking about she's wanting to know about all my classes and whatnot, and she's like, is there anything that you would do differently already? And I was like, yeah, I would never choose this book that I'm teaching to teach again, not for freshmen. And she's like, why is that? I was like, well, it's got some language in it that it's kind of problematic, and if I get through this entire book without a parent complaint, I'm going to be super thrilled, and I'm just going to never do this again. Like, and I have no problem. Like, overall, like, I don't care if my kids read the book. Like, I've recommended it to my kids before. But I can understand a parent necessarily, I mean, my thought is they heard worse on their way to my class than they're going to see on the page. But I also get that because we're teaching it, we're kind of giving it some credibility that some parents may not appreciate. So I get it. So far, though, I have found that when it comes to parents, normally when they have a problem, my first question is, well, what would you like me to do? And if it's nothing crazy, all right. Like, they expect more of a fight, and I'm just like, no, if that's what you want, cool. It's your kid, not mine. You know what I mean? Like, you want something else done, that's cool. But, normally they don't. I don't get a whole bunch of arguments anymore. Just because it's just not worth it, I guess.
You guess?
Well, I know that, not to get too cynical, but a lot of times the school's going to back the parent over me, unless the parent asks for something really ridiculous. So I just don't mess with it. Like, if a parent wants to, like, I had a parent, I got a phone call in the middle of my lunch, which annoys me because it's supposed to be duty free, but whatever. And they were asking questions about this kid's grade, and mom was there, and I was on speakerphone, which I'm like, this is kind of a setup, but all right. And they want to know, well, why is my kid's grade like this? And I told them, he's like, well, you're missing 50 assignments. Well, how comes I was never told about this? He's like, well, it's second quarter. Like, didn't you get a report card? Well, he said he took care of that. Well, he didn't. Well, you should have told me. I'm like, well, I did. I emailed you on this day, and this day. Well, I never got those emails. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this is the email address I have that you provided. So, that's why your kid is not doing so well. It's like, the nice thing is I'm more than happy to work with him on getting it done and getting caught up so he can, get the grade that he needs. I have no problem with that. Like, he's missing this work, I'll accept the work. No penalty, nothing. All he has to do is get it done.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah. And I'm sure eventually some parents are going to come back with, well, there's just too much. And, I don't know if the school will back me when I say, well, it wasn't too much if you had done it every day. He just waited too long. That's his problem, not mine. But we'll see. There's a kid that's missed 9 weeks now. And his parents are wanting to know, what can you do to keep his. I'm like, he's not doing any work. I can't. He's never here. He's not learning anything. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, as far as I'm concerned, he's withdrawn. Like, if he shows up tomorrow, he's 9 weeks behind. Like, I don't know how. It's like I can't help that. It's like, what are you doing to let him stay home for 9 weeks? But that's just me. We'll see what the school makes me do. This is not what I wanted.
What?
Oh, I just realized there's something I have to have done for tomorrow, and I was doing it wrong. Like, I don't need to do a whole bunch of work. I just got to get something set up. And it's, that's going to be great. The end of this chapter that I have to teach, for example, tomorrow, the last sentence has the F word right in it. Like, and again, I know they hear worse on the way to my class. I know I hear worse coming from them, but I also understand that that's not all. There are some kids there, they're just freshmen. And people say, well, it's high school. I'm like, yeah, it's also barely out of middle school. Like, and even though I know I was saying worse things when I was in middle school, that doesn't mean that's how they want their kids raised. So, you gotta, when I'm done with this book, I'll be happy with that. Almost messed it up again. The nice thing, though, since I had that pre-conference, is since I've mentioned this to my principal, that, she can't pretend like she didn't know. Oh, if she had said, stop teaching that today, I would have stopped teaching it today. But since she hasn't done that, I have something of a tacit agreement that I can teach it. And then next year I will look for something else. The problem was the original book that was in the text was just, I don't know, it just, structurally, part of it I thought was kind of interesting. But overall, I was like, there is nothing here for freshmen that I find to be all that worthwhile. I mean, I could go grab some random book in the library and it'd be just as valid. But I knew what was in our book room, and I knew that nobody had taught Slaughterhouse-5 in years, like literally over a decade, and I couldn't remember why. So,
now you do, right?
Well, yeah, now I do. And what's funny is I asked the old department chair, because he still works 2 hours a day. And I asked him, I was like, you think it'd be okay if I teach this? He's like, oh yeah, it's a great book. He's like, he's like, you know, you shouldn't have any problem with it. I was like, all right. It's like, anything I got to be worried about? And he's like, you know, if you don't know, they can't blame you. And I've read the book. Like, I know I read the book. I read the book on my way out to Las Vegas. When I was moving out there, when I flew out there, I took Slaughterhouse-Five with me on the plane ride. You know, read it, thought it was, you know, pretty neat, and that was it. And you know, I was a 20-something-year-old on the way to Las Vegas. I think you could kind of forgive me forgetting about the adult language in the book, because it's not like it's too terrible. It's just, it's there. I mean, there's just as bad stuff in Stephen King books or whatever. In fact, I'd probably say there's worse in Stephen King books.
Yeah, there's some pretty bad stuff in Stephen King books.
Yeah. But, you know, whatever. I always feel, you know, there's a difference between teaching it versus allowing it to be read. Like, some people equate, like, if your teachers aren't allowed to teach it, you ban the book. Like, no, you just say we're not going to teach it. That's not the same thing as banning the book. And, you know, would I be upset if they said I wasn't allowed to teach To Kill a Mockingbird, which some people have suggested we should not teach?
Why?
Oh, because it uses the N-word.
Yeah,
because
but
it's a white woman writing about the South and talking about racism from the white perspective, and
that's kind of the same crap as Huck Finn. It uses
well, they don't like that one either.
Yeah, it uses the N-word, but it uses the N-word to show white people that that's not a thing. I mean, that it's people are people.
Pretty much.
It's the course of a boy learning.
Well, yeah.
And, you know, the other one's the course of a girl learning.
Yeah. And, I mean, I'm sorry, but To Kill a Mockingbird is a fantastic book. It really is.
It is.
It's got so much going for it. Like, I am just blown away by that book. Not the kind of thing I want to write, but still, like, if I had that kind of story in me, I would write that story. I'd be thrilled. But, you know, just... But even if they said I'm not allowed to teach it anymore, that's not banning the book. You know, the book's still in the library. Well, what if they take it out of the school library? It's still at the public library. It's still on Amazon.
Well, a school can ban the book from school.
Yeah.
And that's still legitimately banning the book from school, but
it's not a book ban. It's just saying it's not
allowed
allowed here.
As far as the school goes. But that's all the school has the authority to do. And the school
they act like
the authority to go into the public library.
They act like, I mean, there are people who act like if you say you don't want it in a school, you've completely banned the book. No one can read it if it's not in the school library. And it's like, no, that's not true. Like, if they take it out of the school library, A, it's probably going to be read more. B, go to the public library or go to Amazon. Like, what book on it? And quite frankly, if you really want to know what books are banned, go to Amazon and look for some of the things that are more on the right, more on the conservative side. That's our true book banning when they can't be sold. Sorry, I have a hard time with actual censorship.
Right.
I get grumpy.
I don't blame you. Censorship is bad.
Yeah, but I don't get offended about it if they say, we don't want you doing this in your classroom, because in the grand scheme of things, it may be my classroom, but it's inside their school. And if I want their money to pay for my bills, then, yeah, I kind of have to toe the line.
Well, yeah, like, because they're not telling you can't have a job. They're just telling you can't have a job with them.
Right. But even The Great Gatsby, the book that I love, obviously, I'm going to drop it like F. Scott, right? But, like, I just, if they said, you know, you're not allowed to teach that anymore, I'd be like, all right, whatever. I mean, if they had me teaching a whole bunch of stuff I just hated, then we'd probably have a problem, just because I would hate slogging through it. Like I don't like Julius Shakespeare's The Tragedy of Julius Caesar. Never liked it. If it was that kind of stuff all the time, I would just be like, yeah, this isn't my job. This is not the career for me. But there's normally something in the curriculum that I find interesting. So as long as that's the case, then I'm good. Okay, I have a question that I don't know the answer to that you might. Especially because you're doing it. But you know how, like, you can't play music that's copyrighted because you get a copyright strike, so on and so forth?
You could, yeah.
Okay. So why are you allowed to draw a character that is clearly copyrighted?
Well, first of all, I'm not selling the character.
Okay.
So I'm not saying this is my character. Here, come by and pay me money, whatever. I'm selling my skill. If I was playing music, like, I could take anything that was over, I think, 70 years old, and if I was playing it myself, I could play it because it's outlived its copyright. But if somebody else recorded that and I used their recording is subject to copyright. So it's not the material, it's the recording of that material. I'm not drawing somebody else's version, I'm drawing my version. But plus, and this is, I don't know why it is the way it is, but I can draw anything comic-wise or whatever. I guess as long as I don't sell copies, but a lot of comic artists are able to sell copies too.
Huh.
But I think that's mostly because most comic companies don't want to press charges about drawing, their comic. They want to cultivate more people to draw their comic and get their comic recognized on a bigger level.
All right.
But
well, that's cool.
The other thing I've got in my advantage on this is that I've talked to the guy who created this. It's his comic book, Pete Zanetti, and you notice how I'm actually plugging his comic book and putting links out for anyone that's interested. He didn't require that, but when I told him that I wanted to draw it, he was like, I can't wait to see it. So he wasn't like, no, you can't draw it, it's my copyrighted material. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if he had said that, then I wouldn't draw it. That's the simple part of that.
Okay. I just wondered because
it's a really
like they seem real particular about one thing, but then I see, like Yev was doing and stuff that were other people's characters and whatnot, and you know, it's cool, and I just never thought of it other than, yeah, you're putting up their images, but I mean, it's your image based on their whatever.
Yeah, it's my skill is what I'm displaying. My skill.
Right.
I can sell this piece, but I can't sell King Cryptid. I can sell my work. I can't. But that's why I'm not supposed to be able to make copies of it or whatever. Is because that would be under his copyright.
Okay.
But a lot of comic artists are allowed. They're not given express permission, but like DC won't sue if you're a comic artist and you're drawing Batman because they want Batman to be a popular, you know, image.
But if you were selling a Batman comic, they would.
Right, now if I broke out into selling Batman stuff, then yeah, they'd definitely hop on it. Matter of fact, DC nowadays never can sell anyway. There's a creator that put his creation in public domain, and DC's like, no, we published it, so you can't have it. And that's going to be a legal battle, but DC's, that's another thing. They've freaking huge corporation, lots of money. They can afford the lawyers, you know.
Yeah.
This guy, he's more than happy to see his artwork, you know, put out there. People are learning about King Cryptid just seeing it. They're going to develop a curiosity and say, hey, what's that about? Well, that's what I did. I liked the piece of art, and I was like, wow, what's that about?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd never heard of him. I'm like, all right, King Cryptid, all right, we'll see what this is.
Right?
So I never knew, and then I was like, so yeah, I went to the website. So I may end up looking into this a little bit more.
I didn't look up Alterna.
No?
Yeah, I didn't look up alternacomics.com. Let me do that and see if I can. Yeah, I'm gonna put the link on there. There's a whole bunch of King Cryptid covers, and guess there's other comics that he's got going out there under Alterna's banner. But yeah, like it's really interesting to me. I like the way that it looks. I like the way it's put together. The image is very interesting. So, yeah, I mean, and I'm really looking to help him sell the comic because I love to see comics that are interesting like this not only get, you know, some spotlight, but also get a little bit of popularity because they're fun, you know?
Yeah.
So it takes away from all the heavy agenda-driven work that we're seeing so often lately, and allows you to just pretty much have fun and explore. Like that's what it's about for me. When I first got into comics, that was my, you know, that and Conan and Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan. It was my first real foray into fantasy and story. I don't know if I would be anywhere near so voracious a reader if I hadn't had something like that. And these comics, like from what I've seen, from what I've read of King Cryptid, like on the Alterna site, you got a sample download. And when you sample download, it will give you the same PDF that I read. And a lot of it is stories that are real stories that have been around. So he's not just making something up for the comic. he's taken something that's like the Mothman, which is pretty much a real legend, and people have claimed to see and all that, and
Right.
he's using real reported sightings and all that to tell the story. That's another interesting aspect of that comic for me. But yeah, I read enough in the first couple of pages to want to read more. So, and you know how that is. He did his job. He planted the hook, and I only want to see it do good. So.
Interesting.
You okay?
Yeah. No more hiccups. I'd like to point that out. Thank you very much.
No, I noticed that. I just didn't want to jinx it.
Yeah, I thought about that as I said it. I was like, oh, this is bad.
No, I've been a little bit under the weather for at least a day. So actually, since this weekend, I went up to Rockland and they did the Festival of Lights, which is basically a Christmas parade before Christmas or a Thanksgiving Day parade after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
But the friend whose son died had a float that he worked for Fisher Plowing, Fisher Plows, and Fisher put a float up for him. So we went to go see that float, but it was so cold that it literally hurt my heart. And you know, when you got a heart condition, that's not good.
Yeah.
So what I'm attempting to do is kind of fade out as we go back, as we're down, as we go further down. I want just indications. Because I'm going to throw a lot of that in the shadow. He's got a real interesting belt that's got spikes off of it, but you can't see him because of where his arms are.
Wow.
Also standing up or out there freezing at that parade, I think really almost did me in. Still haven't, pretty much haven't got over how cold it was for me.
Hey, if I said rhino, what would you think is the most obvious physical trait of a rhino?
The horn?
Okay. Just thought I'd ask.
Well, horns.
Yeah, but they're relatively in a straight line along the nose, right? Not like on the sides like a
Yeah,
cow.
well, there's a theory that unicorns are actually derived from descriptions of rhinos before there was a word for rhino.
Okay, but so out of curiosity, I just wanted to see, again, playing with the AI. I wanted to see. I have this idea of kind of a bigger, stronger superhero type. Oh, hey, Departed F. Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, chatbots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Flexible and convenient order management, panel chat panel. Everything is in your hands. Turn it on, off, customize. Go to Streamrise RU.
Yeah, that's an ad.
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, the idea is kind of like a bigger, stronger. Well, I guess, if you think about the Rhino from Marvel, but have you ever seen woolly rhinos?
I've seen what they're supposed to look like.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Not personally.
But something more along that line. And it just, everything it provides, just, nope. That is not a rhino. That is not a rhino man. That is not just can't do it. I find it funny. I mean, maybe maybe if I wanted to spend hours trying to figure out how to get it to do, large humanoid with a horn coming out, out of its, but God, that would be hard to get it to figure all that out.
Right?
Although I think technically I might know how to get it to do it, but it's Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to play with it. I haven't used that function before. There's a thing on Midjourney that's called blend. Like it used to be, you just put slash imagine and then whatever the heck you wanted, and you just basically whatever you got's what you got. So it has a new. I don't know how new because I don't play with it enough. Where it's slash blend, and you can give it two pictures and it'll morph them together. So if I found a picture of a woolly rhino and then some big strong guy and said blend, it might do a better job. Maybe that's how you could do it. But I just sometimes I think it's funny what people think that, oh, you just have AI do it. No, no, you don't. Not if you want something original. So yeah, just wow. Oh well.
So I think what we're gonna do as we grow the channel is do prompt-based stuff too. You know.
That's rich. Artificial intelligence.
What?
Oh, so you'd be the AI. You would be the artificial intelligence. That's all.
Well, I would just be taking up the prompt.
Yeah, I know. I just find it
There's nothing
funny.
artificial about my intelligence.
Oh, that's just why I thought it was funny.
And it would be smarter than that intelligence.
Yes, you would be. But I just
Of all my many failings, I'm smarter than that shit.
yeah, it's one of my favorite memes going around about before we start worrying about artificial intelligence, can we worry about natural stupidity? Yeah. Oh.
So this format, actually, most people go longer than what we were trying to do on YouTube. It's not really uncommon to see 3-4 hours or more. Of course, to make that clear, I'm not intending to go 4 hours or more. So what I'm using is, this is actually a piece of comic book paper. But if you cut a piece of comic book paper in half this way,
Yeah.
it makes 2 8.5 by 11 sheets, same as a copier piece of paper. So I just cut it and flipped it over. One of the things I wanted to do.
So it was originally 11 by 17?
Yep.
Okay.
And half of that's 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, it's only interesting if it's interesting, but for me it was because I'd never thought about it like that as in scale, you know?
Oh.
And now having some kind of scale makes it interesting. So, I'm already to where I think I'm going to ink it, but I'm going to put a 1/2-inch border most of the way around it. I want certain pieces to look like they're escaping the border.
Okay.
Like this piece. Like, I really don't know what that is. I don't know if there's an actual description of what that is, but some things I've seen makes it look like wood, some things I've seen makes it look like bone, and to me I'm going with kind of yak horn. So this is really Bristol board that I'm drawing on. I'm just drawing on the back side of a comic lined board. One of the reasons I wanted to do that is so that when I ink it, it'll just be like regular inking on a comic board. And I hear so we watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer tonight with Eli for the first time.
Oh, he's never seen it?
No, he's so weird about like when he or whether he will watch a show or a movie or the whole thing of something.
Yeah.
And he didn't watch most of it, but he watched probably the second half of it. And he was getting a kick out of Yukon Cornelius.
Yeah.
And Hermes. Me and Amanda were watching that. We watched that, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town because I just bought a 4-pack of Rankin Bass movies. And we realized that there's some pretty abusive people in those movies.
Yeah.
Like if you watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like his mom and dad abuse him. They're like really abusive to the point where they literally drive him to run away. Santa Claus is not a good guy.
Well, right, because if he's always watching if you've been bad or good, how does he not know that Rudolph was being bullied?
Yeah, well, he kind of bullied him. No, not with that nose.
Right.
And they have to do something about that if you're going to get on my sleigh team. Like, wow, Santa's a prick. And then if you're watching it, then the elves make up this Christmas song for Santa.
Right.
And he's completely shitty about that song too. When Mrs. Claus is trying to feed him and fatten him up for Christmas, and he's all like, I can't concentrate with that song.
Right.
Basically he's saying that shitty song that the elves created for him.
I mean, I love that movie. I don't know if you really call it a movie. It's like 30 minutes long.
Well, yeah, I mean, the other one was 50 minutes, but yeah, the same thing.
I always thought it was
not
funny
a
because
full-length feature film because it was made for TV.
right, but man, growing up, I used to think that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was like a 2-hour-long show. Because it was on TV. It's like, yeah, because you're watching 5 minutes of show and 15 minutes of commercials. Like it was. I noticed it one year and I was like, man, this is bad. And then I kind of stopped watching it until I could find it on DVD. And then I bought it. And now I'm like, kind of loses its charm. I don't know. Like I
bought the digital pack.
Yeah.
So it's like it's on Amazon Prime where I bought it. And it's the same to me. It's like Santa Claus is Coming to Town. If you watch that movie, like it took me this long to figure out why Santa Claus is a redhead.
Why is he a redhead?
Huh?
Why is he a redhead?
Because Mickey Rooney played him.
Oh, okay. But
he's got this song he's singing that if you want a toy, you got to sit on my lap and give me a kiss. In exchange for a toy. I'm like, that shit wouldn't fly these days.
No, it would not.
I mean, like, it was perfectly innocent in those days, but, you know, we don't call that innocent no more. Wow.
Oh my God. So today in my class, in one of my classes, I have a boyfriend and a girlfriend, which I generally don't like having.
Boyfriends and girlfriends?
What?
You mean their boyfriends and girlfriends?
Yeah, it's a couple.
You have a couple. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple.
Not you.
They're not my boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah. You have a boyfriend and you have a girlfriend. Well, that's kind of a whole different subject now.
Yeah. No. So we have this couple, and the boy pulled out a bag of pecans and was eating them, and someone else made a comment about it, and it was like because it was like right after lunch, and the class hadn't really started yet, and then the girlfriend, who's very very prim and proper, said something about how, you know, she couldn't believe he just whipped it out like that. And she didn't realize what she said. And I'm just like, oh, please, let it go. Let it go. Please let it go. They don't. Because one kid's like, did you just say your boyfriend whipped out his nutsack? And I'm sitting up there because the bell had just rung, and I am trying not to laugh because it's just really inappropriate.
Yeah,
But at the same time, that's exactly what I was thinking. So that's just apparently I have the same maturity level as teenage boys, but
of course.
yeah,
You never have that shit. All the humor is always with us.
yeah. But I was literally like at the chalkboard, like the chalk on the board. Just when I start laughing, especially when I try to hold it in, I tend to shake quite a bit. So I just there's like this scribble of the chalk on the board as I just really trying not to laugh, but I can't do much else. Oh, well, that was not the plan. But oh well. I think those are some of my favorite times when there's a joke that I could make, but I can't because I like to keep my job.
Someone else does it for you.
Yes.
You want to give them extra credit?
Nah, I don't do that.
I said you want to give them extra credit, and how you do. Like, yeah, you should be getting going for that. Yeah, I broke my leg. Just dropped it off the table.
How dare
Unfortunately,
you?
I don't need a point on this one. You need to do is figure out. I'm gonna get the forward.
Okay, I'm giving you the 10 o'clock warning. So far, all's good. But my wife already told me, she's like, once 10 o'clock hits, all bets are off. I was like, all right, whatever.
Well, apparently, once the hiccups hit, all bets were off.
Oh, did I ever tell you what the boys did with that pizza? You know that thing I told you about? I
Well,
said
I
they
was
were.
going to ask too. I actually did. I asked you if they ended up not getting soda that week, or
So,
did they get soda or something.
so what happened was, I mean, I had told them, I said I have 5 pieces of pizza in this box, and I expect to find next time I open it up, I expect to find 5 pieces of pizza, or I'm not, whatever. Threaten them with withholding funding for their drinking habit, and later on that night, I was hungry, so I had a slice. Then I had another. So I was down to 3 slices, but I'm like, whatever, I don't care, that's good. And I wake up the next morning and I go downstairs, and my son's out in the kitchen, and I was like, is my pizza still here? He goes, yeah, but I think Thaddeus got into it. I was like, he better not have. Like, I'm serious. I better have my slices. So he hands me the box of pizza, and there are 6 slices in it. Because he had gone through and taken the original, the 3 that were actually left, and cut them in half, just so that there would be. I was like, oh. I kind of wondered if you would figure out the loophole without me telling you, but so yeah, I was kind of impressed.
That's that whole if it's funny.
Yeah, if it's funny, you can get away with it.
If it's funny, you can't get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
That's why we had that as a rule, because it's pretty hard to punish your kids when you're laughing.
Yeah. Jason Duran says, "Hey, Rich."
Hey.
Hi, Jason.
Been a while.
Jason says, "Doing some pen and ink tonight."
Yep. King Cryptid. Thought I'd do something simpler and maybe a little bit quicker because it's our first Twitch stream too. My painting commissions are all done for the season so far. So, unless somebody else puts me to work. Gotta have content. Not to be confused with have to be content. Hey, yeah. Now
Hey.
he's on Twitch too.
Oh, is that the same? I guess that is. One's green, one's red.
Very cool, yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah, green, you mean the backgrounds. Like,
Yeah.
I can see a little TV, YouTube sign on one and the Twitch.
Yeah, I can see that
logo on
too.
the other.
But yeah, it's the background color. Trying to keep the icon consistent. That makes sense to me.
Right? So if you've noticed, mine is too. It's it's actually Snarky. It's one of my characters.
I don't know. Oh, let's slow my computer down really far and see. No, I don't. I will have to fix that later.
What's that?
Well, for this account that I use for like my email and whatnot, I don't have my normal icon that I use for a lot of other things. In fact, I think, let me see if I can do it here. Yeah.
Oh, that was very enthusiastic.
Well, that's because if I go to my school account, I have to create a channel to join the chat.
Okay.
That's dumb. Well, so like right now, the window that has you running, that's my normal babooer@gmail.com, right?
Okay.
On my other window here, I have the YouTube up of your show, but it's on Internet Explorer, and that's my school stuff. And so I thought I could leave a comment, because that's got the right icon on it that I like. It's actually a picture from, it's a lamp I made during the lockdowns. And it's like this flaming baby head looking thing. Like, I love it. It's a great picture. I love my lamp. Like, it's a creepy little lamp. And
you love your flaming baby head lamp.
Yeah. It looks weird when the lights are off, because it's this dull head inside of a lantern-like structure, and all I had to do was put a little tiny, bulb in it. And so when the lights are on, and especially in the picture, the head turns orange and the light comes out the eyes, and that's creepy enough. But you turn the light off, and it's just black eyes, so it looks creepier. And I love it. Like, that is one of my favorite things that I've ever made. And it really didn't take me, didn't take much. So I was kind of thrilled, but that is not going to let me post, and I would have to find the picture, the original, and put it on my Booer account. That might be something, that might be a goal for later. But it's still something that I will think about, because, well, you guys all have cool icons. I want a cool icon. Yes.
Sounds like you got your cool icon,
Oh, yeah. Now all I can do is
I'm gonna throw on the mute for a second, so it's up to you to run the show for a minute.
you're gonna what? You're gonna leave me alone?
Mute.
I'm all by myself?
I'm not gonna leave you alone. I'll be
Yeah.
watching you.
Oh, you're watching me? Look at me not draw. It's amazing. I'm the best. Oh god, that was weird. Now that is so weird. I don't think I have a YouTube channel anywhere, but yet on Firefox I can go through and I can leave a comment like I
What?
have Yeah. See? I changed my profile picture and now it's on there and it's amazing. But yeah, Firefox
Oh yeah, I've seen that one before.
Firefox lets me do that like nobody's business. Like it doesn't care. But that's so weird.
Did you want it to care?
No, but I didn't want it to not let me do it. So
Oh, there's that.
I think the flaming baby head is a perfect representation of me. Plus, I just like that it's my art, you know?
All right, man. That's all right.
Hey,
Hey,
I was pretty good at sculpture.
giving you a nod. What's up, man? Giving you a nod.
The last show we did was on last Tuesday, right?
Yeah, because Thursday was out and Saturday I was up at the Festival of Light, so.
Okay. So last Tuesday I started feeling like I was getting a sinus infection. And I think by Sunday, my whole side of my head hurt.
Sick before that, I think you said something that you were feeling pretty crappy then.
Well, started to get the whole right side of my head hurt, and I could feel it in my teeth. And I was like, and it felt better when I blew my nose because it's less pressure. But then it fills up, and it's just, oh. And then, my gum started to get swollen, which was weird. Then my wife was like, maybe you need to see a dentist. I'm like, for a sinus infection? I'm pretty certain it's a sinus infection. I think it's just spread around and it's infecting other stuff. But the cool thing is it was an easy thing to tell because once the swelling went down, the pain went away. I was like, oh, see, we're fine. But I still got that runny nose. It's just oh, I guess I'd rather have the runny nose than I feel like half my head is about to explode. But
right,
it's one of those things where it's like, wow, this is not pleasant. Felt like I could just take a needle and suck out fluid. Which maybe I could have done, but that would have been really gross, and I don't like needles, so wasn't really going to happen, but
You all right now?
What?
Are you all right now?
I'm you. Oh yeah. My wife lowered the heat, which means she's about ready to go to bed. I can feel it. Feel it. I can feel it in the air. Literally.
Wow.
On Sunday, the boys gave both cats and the dog a bath. Not at the same time. And
That would have been interesting.
yeah, that would have been interesting. And one of the cats was, let's just say she was pissed off. Really pissed
Getting
off.
a bath? No.
Yeah. I've seen videos of cats that enjoy it, but not this. This one was
They're doctored.
okay. But yeah, they're probably on Valium or something, but man,
Doctored some way.
Wicket, who came up earlier and was hiding here. I don't know where she went, but she never crawls around my chair. And yesterday she came, she laid right at my feet, and that's where she stayed because I had nothing to do with the bat.
Yeah,
So
right.
I think she thought I'd protect her or something. I don't know. But even tonight, like she laid at my feet for quite some time, then she crawled up top. I mean, I was like, all right. Like, I don't mind. I've always kind of liked it when I had one dog, Rue, who was a great dog, except for the fact that she tore doors off the frame. Like, we had a metal exterior door on the back door, and we went through like 3 of them. She just ripped them off. And I kind of was like, as much as I love the dog, we can't keep her. Like, we can't put her on a chain. We don't have a fence. And because if we put her on a chain, she'd slip out of it. And, we kept coming home and she'd tear the door off. And I was like, we can't do that. So we had to get rid of her. So we rehomed her. But that dog used to come in and she would lay down at my feet while I rode. And I loved it. Like, that is one of my fondest memories of that dog. And Biscuits will get close, because normally Biscuits is she's the cuddliest dog I've ever seen, but she doesn't like come over here when I'm writing, or if she does, she keeps nudging my hand so I pet her, and then I can't type. But yeah, I like it when the pets come around me, like when they're calm and willing to kind of sit, and kind of nice.
Yeah, when they're mellow.
Well, Biscuits, we got Biscuits from the pound, and I remember going in, and so they've labeled all the animals with like, good around kids, bad around another animal, like however they feel like the animal responds, right?
Right.
And it said that Biscuits wasn't good for other animals. Well, you walk into a pound and like every animal's barking and, going crazy. And she was just sitting there. She just looked at it. She never made a sound. Just was like, and I was like, I know it says it's not good around other pets, but like, I think she'd be a good dog. So we got her. And they gave it to her. They're like, take her home for a few days. If you don't like her, bring her back. All right. So, I mean, we took her home, and yeah, she had to be acclimated to the cats, but she got over it pretty fast. Like, she was not bad around pets at all. And she's great with the kids. And yeah, now she's a little bit mouthier. Like, every time she goes outside now, she barks. But when we first got her, she was just like, she wouldn't make a noise.
The dog's job is to bark.
That's kind of what I figure. Yeah, but like now that it's getting colder, like on Saturday mornings, once my wife leaves the bed, the dog will come in, she will crawl under the blankets and sleep right next to me, and I'm like, oh, it's my little furnace. I mean, I think it's great. Most of the cats I generally, have a reluctant peace treaty with, I guess. Like, I'll pet them, but I don't trust them because they're cats.
Right.
I think they know that. So...
So you're still kind of in a process about getting the acceptance. I mean, they want it, but they're still
yeah. It's kind of funny because Wicked's not that old, but she's the older of the two cats, I think. She's definitely the oldest one in the family, like that lived here. And then we got another cat, which for the most part we just call Baby Cat, even though she's already had babies. But when we got her, she was super, super skinny. And she's plumping up now. Now that we've got her, we feed them well. But those, like, Wicket wants to be friends with Baby Cat, and Baby Cat doesn't want anything to do with her. So it's taken them a very long time to really be able to be near each other. And they still fight quite a bit. But they also, you can see Wicket kind of wants to be way too close to Baby Cat, and Baby Cat's just not having it. So it's kind of funny. Hi, babe. Oh, did you bring me a beverage? Did you turn down the heat? I felt it.
Everything downstairs. I do everything like I do all the time. Every time.
Hey, babe. Oh, yeah. I got rid of the hiccups. Does that make you happy? Did I ever tell you about my wife and the penguins?
Maybe.
So, there's this guy that we know named Tommy Danger, which is his actual name. And his wife's name is Dr. Danger, and that's the most amazing thing ever. But anyway. So,
And then Dr. Payne.
yeah. Anyway, he did various fundraisers. He ran a nonprofit thing, and he wanted, so like he would go around and like he would get sponsors and stuff, and he would climb mountains and like put stuff on the top of the mountains or something for you for a certain amount of money or whatever. And he was really raising funds for I think it was muscular dystrophy. Let me check real fast. Cystic fibrosis. I was close. You know, completely different disease, but whatever. So he was raising money for cystic fibrosis, and he asked my wife if she would crochet a penguin for him, and then he would take pictures. Like, so he got several penguins, and he would take pictures on the on some mountain somewhere, and that he had climbed with the penguin, and it came with a little card with like a story, and like he would
like
raffle them off or whatever. Like it was a fundraiser for him. And I mean, he was paying for these things. I don't know how many my wife made. I mean, she made a bunch. We have a picture somewhere where she had lined them up on our stairs and just filled the stairs with these crocheted penguins. And for a while, I mean, she was making some pretty darn good money with this stuff. And she would kind of, I don't want to say mock me, but yeah, she was mocking me because she was making money with crochet than I was with writing. Probably still is making more money with crochet than I am with writing. And that kind of got to me. And like, you know who Carrot Top is, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he got one of the penguins. Like he had one commissioned for him and stuff. So like, her work is spreading or has spread more than mine has. Just
That's the wrong way to look at it, but okay.
yeah, I mean whatever, but now with that sale,
I would be happy if
well, I was happy to spend those checks. Let me tell you, I had no problem paying bills. If she's successful, I'm successful, and vice versa, and I get it. But at the same time, it's kind of disheartening. But now with that story, that's going to help quite a bit, even things up. So, and I did not think that place was paying. Like, for some reason, I didn't think it paid all that well.
You're gonna have to put it in the private chat.
Anyway, so I think that's semi-professional, right?
Semi-professional?
Yeah. Well, there's like token payment, which is like 1 cent a word or something.
Yeah, Pro is 8 cents a word or more.
Right.
So that's semi-pro, but yeah.
Yeah, but still,
not a bad rate.
No, not especially when I did the math on. I was like, all right, so that much per word, and it's that many words. Oh, that's a nice little. Plus, it's just shy of having to record it for taxes. I was like, that is like the best ever.
Yeah, so my best payment
is better than mine. I know.
Well, I was gonna qualify it, I guess. My best payment
was freakish.
Yeah. But it was for a flash fiction.
Right.
So like it kind of spoils it too, because then you're like, wait a minute, I just got paid X amount for a flash fiction, and you don't want to pay this amount for a 10,000 word story, or
Yeah. See, that's the good part. That's one of those few times. I mean, I think that's the longest story I've ever sold too.
Oh, that's cool.
I could be wrong about that part, but I think it might be. It's definitely the most I've ever made, and I think that's why. But whatever.
Yeah, the rate that I got paid on my most,
was insane.
I was shocked because I didn't believe it was real. For a minute, I was thinking the decimal was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't even want to bother because it's only, Yeah.
Right.
It was 100 times what I thought it was.
Well, see, that's one of those things where I'm just.
It's often the first time that you get a big paycheck or something that you feel is a big paycheck, it's a payoff.
Yeah.
For all the time, it's validation too, for all the time and effort you put into it. And we can't do it without caring about what we're writing.
Right.
even though we try to tell ourselves, "Oh, it's just a story. It's not a baby."
Well, that's like
it still cries in the middle of the night and wants our attention.
the that one story, the one with the brothers that you don't like as much. Which I love that story. I don't, but
Hey, it doesn't matter whether I like it.
like that one was, it's less, it's fewer words, and it pays less. But you know, they've never, like, once they accepted it, when they, oh no, we really want it. Oh yeah, still nothing. I'm like, all right, so it's one of those things where, yes, it'd be nice to be paid that much, and it's nice that the pay rates are going up. I'm going in the right direction. Like, there's all that kind of stuff. But until I get a check, I don't believe it. Like, there have been too many things, you know, just a couple times of a publication accepting something and then going out before they publish it, so I don't get paid.
Oh yeah, I've had that happen too. I've got accepted, and then all of a sudden they're not doing it anymore. And hell, one of them we both went to and went through when we did the planetary things.
Yeah.
The original one that I wrote for the planetary thing, for the planetary anthology, was meant for a different anthology that they were talking up, and when it came time, it was like, nope, we're handing it over to so-and-so, and that so-and-so made it into a different anthology. And then so-and-so sold it to somebody else to do that anthology. So yeah, I've had that happen a couple of times. I haven't had like that whole I want to accept it and then a year later they're out of business and never told you, but I have had the disappointment of thinking something was going to be that something, and something wasn't going to be. The meaning to switch the soundtrack over for a few minutes. I'm almost done with the line work. Tried to get most of the big stuff out the way first. I don't know if I'm going to finish the whole thing tonight. I'd like to say I was going to, but that's significantly louder, huh?
What?
I said that's significantly louder. This soundtrack is significantly louder than the last one.
No.
I didn't turn up the volume. I just changed soundtrack.
It took a minute. Like, you were talking before I heard the music. So I don't know if there's a delay or not, but wasn't sure what you were talking about yet.
Yeah, it just got louder. That's all. Whoa. Let's see, a little bit of big black still, and then I think I'm gonna call it quits for the night and pick it up later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do silhouetted forest in the background, like
Okay.
winter stuff. So there's not a lot of detail. It's fading in the shadow in the foreground, so it's, just basically focus on in. After all that, this is the part that I've really been waiting for. You spot
Okay.
the blacks. Well, because when you spot the blacks, it brings everything out. Or it screws everything up if you're me. Are you still tutoring?
Well, when I can, like, I'll go in tomorrow morning. We'll see who's there. But so far, like I could go to tutoring last night. I couldn't go to it tonight because of Quiz Bowl. Tomorrow, I'll go in the morning, but I can't go in the afternoon because I have to go get my car finally. And then,
Oh yeah, there you go.
I have a feeling there's something on Thursday too. Like I've just been, and I knew this was coming. Like I warned my students. I said, if you wait to the end of the semester, that's when swimming is started. That's when Quiz Bowl is still going on. Like there are things that I'll have to go to. I cannot guarantee I'll be at tutoring. Whereas at the beginning of the semester, as soon as they started doing tutoring, I'm like, yep, I will be there. And I was there every night because it's too good of money to pass up.
Well, you said, before it was kind of taking its toll on it. So.
Yeah, but it's not like, I mean,
well, that's why I asked, because I didn't know if you were gonna stick with it, if you had enough.
well, as much as I can, I stick with it.
I knew your purpose with it. What's that?
I mean, I do it as often as I can. It's just, but if I'm not there, I'm doing something else. I mean, it's not like I've just gone home and goofed off. It was, I had to go to a Quiz Bowl meet, or I have to go to swimming, or, or there'll be a basketball game. And, I got to be there for the mascot. And then, because I'm a big dummy, our school has a Facebook page, and the Alumni Association has one, and the athletics have one. And the athletics one, promotes athletes.
Right.
The alumni one generally promotes alumni events. So when my principal was talking about how she was talking with a community member who didn't know we even offered tutoring, and my principal's like, I don't know how to get this message out to more of the community. So when I was having my pre-conference with her, I sent her an email. I was like, ask me about Stretch during my pre-conference. So then she did. She's like, she didn't even know who Stretch was, which kind of bothers me because she's a Marion graduate. But okay, whatever.
Is the principal of the school?
Yeah. The only thing I can say is maybe, well, a lot of people don't know that the mascot's name is Stretch. But that's a relatively new version of the mascot. So maybe she didn't realize it was named that because it wasn't named that when she was in school. Maybe. I don't know. But whatever.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, thanks. So,
If you're giving her the benefit.
so I told her, I said, and I gave her the history of it. It's like, I think that Stretch should have his own social media presence, and he should be a lot more things than just basketball games and football games. Like, he's the school's mascot, not just the football team's mascot. Like, you should be having him, like, there should be photos of him at tutoring. There should be photos of him doing all kinds of stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be like a big, long thing. Just show up, get the picture taken, put that out on our page. You know what I mean? And I told her, like, I had tried to do that. And Keith Burke, who's our superintendent, he was pretty cool with it, but he told me to go check with 2 other people. And those 2 people said no. Said, don't do it. They said, you can send us pictures if you have them. And I'm like, you guys really don't get the point of having a mascot. Like, you just, whatever. Whatever. I just ignored it. But then with the principal saying, again, she's having this problem with, how do you market stuff to the community? I'm like, yeah, so you should have, I don't know, a mascot promoting things. And, just like the mascot should be everywhere. And it's not like I'm getting paid more the more he does or anything. I just think it's good for the school, and it would be good. It's a good way of just promoting other aspects of the school that aren't being promoted right now. So she was kind of down with that. She liked that idea. But that also means that I have to go to more things because I have to get the boy into a suit. It's like, I am just a masochist. I'm just asking for more work. But I also figure, my son's only got 2 more years in high school. After that, they got to find somebody else, and it ain't me. And it's not my problem. I will seek to create a positive model, set the bar as high as I can, and then let someone else do it. Pass the baton, yes. Or drop the baton. I don't really care because
they don't want to carry it anymore.
Yeah, because once the kid has gone off to college or graduated high school, really, we're done with that. I am not that big of a sports fan.
Is it the youngest?
What?
Is it the youngest?
Yeah.
I kind of got that idea when you think, like, once he's gone off to college, I'm done. Indicating that there's nobody else that's going to pick it up and go with it after that.
Well, my older boy didn't want to do it at all. Like, he was never interested. But my younger one, from a very young age, was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And that's kind of rare for him. He normally doesn't, like, he's kind of more of an introvert, but when you got a big giant helmet on your head and nobody can tell who it is, he's out there dancing and pulling pranks, and he's great. Saturday we played Newcastle, and they brought their mascot with them, which is actually kind of rare. And so my boy was just, play fighting them and doing all this stuff, and just trying to put on a show because that's what he's there for. And he loves that kind of thing. in my paternal dreams, he'd get a scholarship to some university to be their mascot. I mean, some of the NBA mascots make serious bank, so it's not like it's completely unfeasible that you could do this for a living. But I don't think he's that keen on it. But still, it's just one of those things where not many people can say they were their high school's mascot. You know what I mean? So if he has to write college essays, that's where I'm like, lean into that. You know, you don't have to be one of the, I've got these problems that I've overcome. Screw that, because they get a lot of those essays. Instead, focus on, hey, looks, I was kind of shy. I thought I'd try this out, and I got to have fun and, make something better for the school, make the town better, just a promotional thing. So hopefully it pays off. If not, at least he had fun while he did it.
Yeah, that's like with Eli. That's the main thing. He plays unified basketball, and
right?
Unified volleyball or whatever. It's really not about the sport. It's about being a part of
a team.
Yeah, hanging out with people other than mom and dad.
Yeah.
Or, other than his relatives. Someone that'll think he's special and give him some attention in a positive way other than that. But really, as long as he's having fun.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we've gone to some of the unified games, to support the mascot who's there to support the unified team. And those were always good games. The atmosphere is just, it's just really kind of cool. Always liked it.
It's really good sportsmanship. I don't know how it is on where you are, but it's a really good sportsmanship atmosphere where we are. Like, our team wins a lot of games, but we'll go up by so many and then just start giving it away, and handing that chance after chance, and the kids will. This doesn't, it's not the coaches that are telling them, hey, you need to do this. The kids are all part of helping out and being good sportsmen and trying to see these kids make a basket for their loved ones or, get some pride in them. It's pretty cool to see. And they're really good.
It was kind of neat because earlier this year I had a parent conference and they brought in their older sibling with them, and the sibling I recognized from Unified Basketball. And the fact that I knew who he was, that he played, he was never my student or anything, but I was like, didn't you play basketball? Like, yeah. And they were rather impressed. I don't know. They were kind of pleased that I knew. He was excited. And, all right, cool. He was a good basketball player. I don't know. Kids tend to like it when you show up for things.
Yeah, and they tend to like it when you let them know they're doing a good job, too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that was a great job. Like, we have a couple of them that'll not even make a shot, but they'll get out on the field and they'll start doing cartwheels and little dances and stuff like that. They're just so happy to be there. And, the crowd shows support for them being happy to be there and playing and all that. So. Yeah, it's one of the better creations I've seen come out of extracurricular activities in school. Of course, I might be a little bit biased. And like I said, they really have a good atmosphere and a good good thing going. Let me see. Yeah. The only thing I have found that I really don't like about these markers is after a while, those refills start seeming like they're not really being refills. I love the ability to blend with them, but I left the cap off the big one. I have a wide one, this one.
Yeah.
Left the cap off at once, and I ain't worked right then. Yeah, I refilled my Corpus to get something living the other day. And I didn't think they'd have to be refilled again already, but it's black. It's up pretty quick.
Hey, it's Mark. Hi, Mark. Said that looks like a badass king. Or King Cryptid.
Yep. Very quickly. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very close to done for the night, finally. Well, I needed to put all these blacks in, because a lot of this stuff is implied, and when the blacks are all in, it'll look more like he's disappearing in the shadows. This is what I want him to look like. Did you check out the comic?
I didn't down. I mean, I went to this page and I looked around and looked at the stuff like the He-Moth and stuff, and the different ones that he had on the arc. What was it? Alternate Comics.
Yeah.
Some of them look kind of strange, but
Well,
yeah, I was looking at it.
I didn't explore alternate comics too much, but I've seen this one around. I've seen it on other screens, and it's always been an interesting figure to me. So I've definitely been wanting to draw it. And I'm not going to call this finished at all by any means, but I think I'm going to throw a little bit of an eraser on some parts real quick and call it for the night. And then come back to it maybe next stream and throw some silhouette trees in there. Throw some shadows in the back part of the crown and all that.
Yep.
I have a big eraser that I can't find, so I've either got the electric eraser, which that doesn't have the biggest eraser tip in it right now, or the eraser tip on this particular pencil. This hand I went over about 4 times before I was happy with the shape of it. And it sits in a racer there. I'll find out what Eli did with my big eraser. My big eraser would have made short work of this. Yes, it definitely needs another session. Alright. I got a hell of a lot done for one drawing screen.
You know?
Usually we're getting pencils or inks done. Well, it's not even done, right? Get the pencils done. The ink still got a little ways to go, but gotta find the rest of my erasers too. Oh yeah, dude. This one's out of lead, but it's still an eraser. I can predict this is going to look very different than what people think it's going to look like in the film.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I haven't really indicated what I'm doing with the crown of the upper part that's silhouette of the tree. Plus, it's going to look a lot different. And I get some daylight on it, too. That's what I get to do. Let's get some focus on it. Alright, Encrypted Part 1.
$4 hours, man.
Yeah. Well, pencils and ink, so, so most of the ink. Alright, everyone that watched, thanks for watching as usual. If you like it, let me know. Good night.
See you guys.
God bless. See ya.